Hey guys, what is happening? NoZoupForYou here, and I have a veritable plethora of ships to present to you today. I've got a lot of ships that I want to show you, some upcoming ships, some awesome premiums, but before I get to that, I've got a winner to announce for the Alabama, and I've got a new giveaway that I'm doing that I want to introduce to you all as well. So, first and foremost, let's congratulate Pogue Mahone. He's the winner of the Alabama, and it will be credited to him shortly. Now, as for the next giveaway, I will be giving away ships, but this will be a little different. As you all know, I went to the Let's Battle event down in Corpus Christi. I have some swag that I want to give to you. I am giving away 5 prize packs that include a t-shirt, a very awesome Let's Battle t-shirt. 3 pins. These are very cool little pins that you'll see in a photo right here. In addition to that, I am also giving away a coin from Let's Battle. It's got the Lexington on it, so there's another item. And lastly, I've got some wonderful cards that contain not only a USS Texas, but an airplane for World of Warplanes and some tanks, and that'll be given away as well. Now, I'm opening this to the EU as well. I'm opening it to the EU. I want them to have a chance to win this. I know a lot of my followers are in the EU, so I'm trying to work something out where I can get you a premium ship, hopefully the Texas. I can't promise, but I'm trying. Now, if you enter, even if you win and I can't give you the Texas, I'm still going to send the swag to you. So you're still going to get a t-shirt, you're still going to get the coin, and you're still going to get the pins, which are very, very cool. Definitely something you want to have if you love World of Warships. So, as always, the link to enter is in the description of this video. Check it out, hit it up, get entered. 5 of these will be given away, 5 of these prize packs, and now we are moving on to this plethora, as I said earlier. I just love that word, plethora. You've all seen the Three Amigos, right? El Guapo. You don't know what a plethora is, do you, Hefe? Anyhow, moving on, I digress. I'm getting into pulp culture. We're not here to do that. I've got 4 ships. These are all works in progress. Usual disclaimer applies. Every single one of these ships is subject to change. These are not the final form. We're going to start with the low tier. We've got the Tier 3 HMAS Vampire, which is an Australian destroyer. Now, for these ships, I'm just going to give you some quick pros and some quick cons. These are previews. Now, I'm not going to give you a full review, but I'm just going to give you some pros and cons that I have discovered while I played these ships. And this might give you an indication as to whether or not you want these ships. So starting with the Vampire. Pros, you've got 5.7 kilometer concealment for a Tier 3 ship. Not that bad. You've also got 402mm guns that are pretty good with a 5-second reload. And when I say pretty good, these guns are, in my opinion, probably the best Tier 3 destroyer guns you're going to find. They pack a decent punch, and they're actually a lot of fun. Destroyer to destroyer fights are very, very fun with this ship. Also, you've got speed, 35.7 knot speed. That is pretty fast for a Tier 3 ship. So, a little bit of good to like there. Now for the bad. It's a Tier 3 ship. And not only that, I know a lot of people were hoping for the 1956 HMAS Vampire. Didn't get that. We're getting the Tier 3 here. Torps are 6 kilometers, and they're only 53 knots. That's very lethargic for torpedoes. And last but not least, another con is it's an Australian ship. And while I love Australian ships, I have nothing against them. The only other Australian ship in the game is the Perth. So building your captain up is basically going to be from scratch, especially if you don't have the Perth already. If you do have the Perth, you might be able to move the Perth captain to the Vampire. If not, you're starting from scratch, and it's going to be a long haul to get that captain up to 19. However, it might be worth it if more Australian ships are on the horizon. I don't know yet, though. So moving on to our next ship, we've got the Ashitaka, a Tier 7 IJN battleship. Now this one's a fun one. We all love battleships, right? Every time we get a battleship, people, it kind of piques the interests of several individuals. There's a lot of battleship fans out there. So, pros for this ship, Amagi guns packing a Amagi punch. Yes, that's right. You've got some very awesome guns on this ship that are going to do some very awesome damage. You've also got 30 knot speed with an 870 meter turning radius and a 14.5 rudder shift. Feels kind of fast to me. Feels like it handles decently. Of course, most Japanese battleships do kind of feel that way. So this is no different. If you're used to how a Japanese battleship handles, the Ashitaka is going to be no surprise to you. You either love it or you don't love it, and I think the majority of us do love, or at least like, how the IJN battleships handle. Also, you've got some good gun range at 19.9 kilometers. At Tier 7, you can pretty much reach out and touch everyone before they can touch you. Now for the cons, because there are always cons. This ship is spongy, spongy, spongy. SpongeBob SquarePants. Yeah, it's very spongy. Your hit points deplete very quickly when you're focused. And that's pretty much the same with most IJN battleships, but be forewarned that even angling on this, if you're getting focused, Tier 7 cruisers even, ships like the Belfast are still going to eat into you, so be wary of that. Also, you have no spotter craft. You have no airplanes on this. You can't even put a combat aircraft on it. So, kind of lacking in the extra modules department. And again, this is basically a stock Amagi, or a Tier 7 Amagi, or a Ki, or a Mutsu, or I don't know at this point. They're all starting to feel the same to me, these IJN premium battleships that are coming out. And this one doesn't have torpedoes to boot, so that might provide even less incentive for you to get this battleship if you're looking for something different. Aside from that, though, it packs a serious punch that you might enjoy. Moving on, we've got the Tier 6 T-61, which is a German destroyer. This is actually an interesting little destroyer for a couple of reasons. So, pros: 128mm guns have 14km gun range with the right captain skills being used. So if you've got a 19-point captain on there with AFT, BFT, or something to that extent, you're going to get that 14km gun range. The arc at that distance is probably not US in arc bad, but you know, it's still a destroyer firing at range. But again, you can reach out and touch from that range, which is pretty nice. Also, these guns pack a decent punch. They're not a one-trick pony. You just don't get that range as well, but you've got some decent power on them, and that helps you in destroyer-on-destroyer battles, and also helps you when you're fighting bigger targets as well, like battleships. Another pro about this ship, you also have a blazing fast 60-second reload on your 8km 65-knot torps. That is awesome right there. 60 seconds is nothing to sneeze at. And again, this is a 19-point captain here. I pretty much got the torp speed as quick as I can get it, and that's fast. You can fire off torps, take a nice little loop, fire them again when you come back on target. And another pro, you've got that nice German hydro as well. Now for the cons though. Your torps are only 8 kilometers, and for many DD captains that 8 kilometers might feel a little short for you. It also turns a little sluggish as well. It is not the most maneuverable destroyer in the world. Especially if you're running full speed, you're trying to juke, it does handle sluggishly. Also, the consumables on this destroyer seem to reload just a tad slow. All in all, though, I think this is a fairly decent entry in Tier 6, especially for German destroyers. I think overall, it's not going to be that bad, especially with that 60-second reload. That's very nice. So, moving on, though, to our last ship, our last preview of this video. We've got the Tier 7 Italian cruiser, Duca degli Abruzzi, and this is an absolutely gorgeous ship. Actually, the Italian ships in general that they produced have looked very gorgeous. The Cesare is a gorgeous battleship, so this lives up to that. You know, those sleek, sexy Italians. So let's get into the pros on this ship. It is fast and nimble, like every other Italian ship. When has an Italian ship not been fast and nimble? The Ferraris of World of Warships. 35-knot top speed with a 680-meter turning circle and an 8.9-second rudder shift. And not only that, it can take some hits as well. If you're angled properly, you can bounce some shells, and that is very nice for a Tier 7 cruiser. So, a little surprised when I was going bow on to some bigger ships with some bigger guns and came to a stop. I was bouncing shells. That's not bad at all. You've got 9.5 kilometer concealment. That is also very nice, especially when you're that quick. And you've got great torpedo arcs as well. Last pro that I'm going to mention right now, your AP is fairly formidable, and it's got good arc. Your guns they're pretty powerful. Cons though, I mentioned you've got great torp arc. Now don't get excited about that, or the fact your torpedoes are 12 kilometer torpedoes. They only travel at 51 knots. A sloth could outrun these torpedoes. Actually, the enemy would have to get lucky to run into these torpedoes. I think the only way you're going to hit an enemy with these 51 knot torpedoes is for an enemy to deliberately drive into your torpedoes. That is how slow these things are. And that is how bad they are. This is probably the worst thing about this ship. Also, your 15 kilometer gun range feels a little short. I'd personally like to have maybe an extra kilometer on there, but I don't know. Lastly, damage output seems a tad slow. Your fire percentage chance is only 7%, so your HE is not going to be burning down anything too quickly. So, yeah, those are the cons for the Abruzzi. Got a lot of pros too, though. You're basically a giant destroyer. You handle like one. You've got concealment like one. Well, not necessarily, but there you have it. If you're an Italian fan right now, an Italian battleship and cruiser fan, this ship is probably right up your alley. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You've got 4 ships coming soon, all works in progress. Tier 3 Vampire, Tier 7 Ashitaka. You've got the T-61 German destroyer at Tier 6, and lastly, the Tier 7 Italian cruiser Duca degli Abruzzi. There you have it. If there are any major changes to these ships, I will let you know. Soak this in, kind of mull this over. We don't know when these ships are going to be released, but they are going to be coming out at some point in the future, the not too distant future. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Be sure to get entered for these swag packs, these swag prize packs. They're really cool and a lot of fun, and I want to give you the opportunity to win them, especially in the EU. And like I said, I'm going to try and work something out where I can get you a premium ship. If I can't, though, I'm still going to ship you the swag pack if you win, and those in their own right are cool enough. Thank you all for watching. I am out.